Alrighty, Gavin. This next news article is a segue into some prediction for the Game Awards. Looks like an Xbox announcement is coming at the Game Awards. This is VG247's Dom Pepiat. Looks like Microsoft is gearing up to make a big announcement at the Game Awards, which takes place later this week on December 10th. According to industry insider and proven reliable source GamesBeat, Jeff Grubb, Microsoft and Xbox will be sharing some interesting news this coming week with a special announcement at the Game Awards.
I would love for it to be the Microsoft Xbox Series XS.
Or it's just what, two melted together, or it's
just to confuse the fuck out of everyone even further.
Yeah, here's hoping. Do you think so? Just looking at that announcement, that there's going to be some kind of announcement. Do you think it's hardware related, or do you think it's just more software, more game stuff? Because really, this event teases 2021. So what would they be announcing here?
They've bought up a shit ton of developers that we haven't heard from in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's true.
It is time, and like again, remember that year where they were just like, we bought these guys and these guys and these guys and these guys and these guys. They could just throw all of them up on stage at once.
Yep.
And blow everyone's mind. I don't think that's going to happen because I honestly, it feels like the Game Awards have been largely like showing off indie games. They do a really good job of showing off the little guys. Not as much last year, but I bet they get back to those roots.
I wonder if it's hard to, because you have to manage the amount of time and getting those big announcements. It seems key to Jeff Keighley, because with last year, I think last year kind of takes it up a notch because that's the first time we got to see the Series X. So already when you have that level of announcement, then you go into planning next year, and it's like you have these indie studios that want to show something off, and you go, yeah, that's cool, but then I have all these, now everyone wants to show off something insane there. So I wonder if, I'm hoping, just like you're saying, they're going to give time to indies, but I wonder now, is it just that next level of event? Because now we don't have E3, and there isn't a big real event till, I'm not sure when, because now they've all kind of splintered off and they do their own thing. Sony has their own little press conferences, same with Xbox. So this is the last big meeting event to do it at. So I wonder what we'll see, what level of stuff we'll see.
Who have they bought that we haven't seen anything from?
There's a couple here. That's part of some of the predictions that could possibly we could see. So we can go into it. On that same note, so I think Senua's Sacrifice too. So it was announced last year with the Series X, and we got to see apparent gameplay, more of that teaser trailer they showed off. I think we see gameplay this time, and we get a date. What do you think about them showing off more of Senua's Sacrifice?
Sure. I don't know how long the first one was, so the second one may not take that long to get out.
I want to say it was a good 8 to 10 hours, maybe. It was more of a shorter
that's
experience.
pretty long.
And that's to say if they're going right.
Of that visual quality too.
They're a pretty insane studio. And do they go for that same length? Is this more of a huge scope where it's a semi-open world or something? I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, that was a length of that game. But
if number 2 gets really good reviews, I'll bite the bullet and play the first one. The first one's supposed to be great, but
it is, and it's everywhere now. It's super cheap too. But I'm thinking, we seen that because we got to see it last year. Also, I want to say last year or the last Xbox event where they talked about the Series X. They mentioned State of Decay 3. They showed off a trailer, so I think we see some gameplay of that.
That's right.
You mentioned some of the studios we haven't heard from. Psychonauts still with Double Fine. There's no release date yet. Do you think we get a release date for that? We've seen gameplay.
I think we do. It's been in development for so long. Like, it was kickstarted. Look up real quick. How long ago was the Psychonauts 2 Kickstarter? It was... Has it been a decade yet?
Oh, really?
It could be. It was forever ago.
And it was last year at the Game Awards that they announced that they were acquired by them, right? Because I know he went on stage.
Oh, that's right. It was on Fig. Oh, really? 2015?
For Psychonauts 2.
No.
That's about 5 years ago.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. So that's when they made their almost 4 million.
2016. Man, that felt like forever ago.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I think they should be, I imagine, close to a date. So maybe we get an actual date. I don't know if we get more gameplay, maybe a short amount of gameplay, because they've shown off a lot of that game already.
Another thing we should look up real quick. How long ago did Stadia launch? Was that this year?
That was it's been a year.
Oh, it has.
About 2 or 3 weeks ago, they celebrated 1 year of being out. So Stadia. Do you think there's any Stadia announcements there? I wonder what they...
You know what? Here's my opinion. And this is sad, but my opinion is I think Stadia probably wanted to get in the show, and they probably turned him down.
He gave him the wrong number or something.
Right.
Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, that's I mean, what What could Stadia? They would have to do something so incredibly big to build any level of hype.
They could, maybe you could see, oh god, my green screen is falling. They could announce like a special deal where it's like this week it's free, like something like that. That isn't like a full blown announcement. Something
That
like
reminds me, I
promotion.
need to cancel my.
Your Stadia.
Yeah, I keep forgetting.
That's how they get you. So let's keep going with some of the like likely ones. So I think we talked about Psychonauts, Far Cry 6. So that was delayed, but that's still 2021. I think we get some gameplay. I feel like that's not insane to predict.
It's been a while since we've seen,
There's
since
that
the last
story
Far Cry,
trailer.
right?
Yeah, it's been a while since the Far Cry 5. We got the story trailer maybe 4 months ago, and it's been delayed. But I think if they're planning on 2021, we should get some gameplay at this event.
This studio also puts out games very regularly at extremely high quality.
Right.
So for them to jump to next gen is probably pretty easy for them.
I would, yeah, especially with next gen. A lot of the consoles have the same architecture, hardware, and same for PC too. So it shouldn't be that much of a task. But
Still so excited that this is the first Far Cry, to my knowledge, where the jungle is an urban jungle. To my limited understanding, it may not necessarily be like that, but that's what it looks like. And it
seems like they're going to still have the jungle around it, but yeah, they are going to have more of a city presence there, more of an urban jungle thing going on.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get some gameplay there.
God of War 2.
God of War 2. So they're still saying it's 2021. And if they are, then I think we'd have to get some gameplay here because this event should be promoting 2021. So if they're going with that same idea that it's releasing next year, we got to see something here. Unless Sony has their own event showing it off.
I feel like when that trailer went and it said 2021, I feel like the designer did a spit take.
It's like, oh, I didn't know that. The last person to know. But even I've seen, I forget the name of the game director. He's been tweeting and retweeting stuff about it being 2021. On paper, that's what they're planning on. But I'm thinking if they are still, then we see some presence there. Yeah, I think it's not insane to ask for gameplay if it is 2021. But there's a declaration there. So I think as far as safe things, we know that Xbox is going to announce something. So I put that in there. I don't know what that is. Do they announce another acquisition?
I'm still maybe. I think that's highly likely.
Like a really high
that
profile.
Realistically, that's what it's going to be. I'll say with like 100% confidence, I'm still gunning for a bigger xCloud presence. I want these games playable tonight on xCloud,
It's been a dream for a while.
on your PC, yes, it's been my dream for forever. It's doable now. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
I know there's video of you as a kid asking for them to finally day one with the Game Awards. You get to play these things now.
I mean, that shit happens. I remember, I think I've said it before, but as a kid, I wanted Shadow of the Colossus. Exactly. Like I had in my head the very first boss, and when I saw that, I'm like, this is my favorite game ever. And I've never even played it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nice. So those are some of the things I'm sure we'll see. Maybe Sony shows off Gran Turismo 7 or more of it. We get a date.
Absolutely.
So we have some possible stuff. So last 2 Game Awards ago, we got Breath of the Wild 2, that gameplay footage or that trailer. Do we see gameplay? Do we get an actual date this year?
I'm going with no and no. I think the Zelda team is so mysterious, and we really don't start seeing anything basically until the year it's going to come out.
That's true, but 2 years now. And if they're going to promote, if they are tracking for 2021, this would be a good spot to announce it, to actually say like, hey, we're launching 2021. Here's a trailer.
It sure would. It's not coming out 2021.
Gotcha.
This is Zelda team.
That's true. I wonder what Switch has on the docket for 21. Nothing that's huge. I mean, all their big juggernauts have released. This is one of the last ones. So, yeah, that's what gives me hope that it is going to be here and it's going to be 2021. But that's one of my possible predictions here. Yep. Anthem 2.0. They said they're working on it. Do we get a trailer here or some kind of update on Anthem?
If they do, I predict this trailer will be like one of the biggest bangers of the whole show. Like you gotta have a trailer to bring everyone back.
Yeah, you do. You have to just like wake your grandma up and kick her out the window and somehow like, this ain't your grandma's Anthem. This is something else.
Well, because remember that trailer for like when No Man's Sky came back, like that trailer, like, oh, by the way, graphical overhaul, all this new stuff. You're like, oh shit. I'm not even gonna wait for the influencers. I'm gonna try this now.
That's true. You
So-
really have to like change the narrative with something of a trailer that shows what's new. So this gives me hope that it's possible because BioWare is going to be at the Game Awards. They've said that what's been confirmed is they're going to show off Dragon Age 4, like some kind of update gameplay. They're going to show that off there.
Oh.
So the fact that they have something, maybe they do. And another thing, here's an extra look at Anthem. This one is a possible for me. So The Last of Us 2 multiplayer, do we get a tease? They're working on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they announced a while ago that the next thing now is multiplayer multiplayer, because the last Last of Us game came with bundled with a multiplayer.
And a good multiplayer at that.
Yeah, people loved it. But they announced quite a while ago that they're going to section this thing off and it's going to be kind of its own game. So do we see that here? Also, do we get confirmation on the next gen version of Last of Us 2? They haven't really talked about, do we get an update? Do we get a paid update or a full blown next? They're going to charge you $70 for like an update to it. I'm wondering if we get an update here.
Maybe.
Now there's there's a semi-secret Sony San Diego studio. So it just hasn't been given a name, but it's working on a game. And the rumor that is circulating is that they're working on an Uncharted game. They're taking it over from Naughty Dog. Do we see that here? I don't know. That's one of those kind of outlier ones.
Can I be a grump for a second?
Yes.
Stop making Uncharted games.
Ooh.
The story's done.
Have you played them?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not hungry for another Uncharted game, or no?
Do you want another Indiana Jones game or movie right now?
They're different. You know what gives me... So
in what universe are they different?
I hear you, but the game that's turned me around is they put out that DLC with the other characters in that world. So it was Lost Legacy,
Right.
maybe about 2-3 years
Wasn't
ago
that
now.
like a full game?
It was a standalone, so you didn't have to own Uncharted 4, and you could just buy it. I think it was like $40,
Yeah.
and that was with just side characters, and it was fun because the core gameplay of traversing the world, it's dope. I think they do a better job than Tomb Raider, and so I wouldn't mind something else taking over that series, just keeping that core gameplay loop. So for me, yes,
Right.
I would love another one. Maybe not for you, but
Well, I think the thing is like these games have been asking the big questions. Why is Drake willing to throw him and all the people he loves in danger constantly to do these things? Like what their questioning is, and he's not learning anything. Like what are we learning shit for, and then making another game?
True, but it could be different characters. That's the theory, that it's not going to be just Nathan Drake again. It's going to be different characters taking it over. And I think you can figure out the story. These games make so much money that they're going to just do it no matter what. And they're going to figure out the story afterwards.
But we've seen with The Last of Us, like, I mean, again, this would be a different studio, but let them make more of these amazing cinematic IPs.
Sure. And now they're free to, because they're not
right. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're handing this series over to somebody else, and so they can keep doing their own thing. But I think Sony, wanting to make money, they're going to be like, hey, we're going to keep mining this franchise and figure out what works. But that's what I wonder if they'll show that off here. Maybe not. So now this was a couple years ago. You mentioned indies. So that Gone Home dev, the Fulbright company. So they showed off Tacoma, which was their last indie game at the 2017 Game Awards. And that's now, 3 years ago? So do we see their next project teased here, just because in the past they've shown it off at Game Awards? So that's one of my maybes.
I'd put that at 100%.
Yeah?
I call that.
Gotcha. So we were talking about the Metal Gear movie. Kojima has a love situation, a bromance with Jeff Keighley. Everything is there that he promotes. Is it too early to see Kojima tease the next thing? Because Death Stranding was teased insanely early. So was Metal Gear Solid 5. Do we see it teased here?
100%.
I feel strong about that one in my balls. I want to put that to the likely category.
Yeah.
I was on the fence, but I think it's possible.
I mean, because like if a Kojima game gets delayed, like no one's even surprised.
Does anyone hear if it falls in the forest? I don't know. But
we're not even mad. We're just salivating it. Yeah.
No, and he likes to tease them really early, like with concept footage and that kind of thing. So I think it's definitely fair.
And we love that though. We like being confused
and the mystery, because you don't know what the hell he's going to show. We often don't even know what's happening until you beat the game, or even then you still don't know what the hell that just happened.
You thought that baby was weird last time. Oh,
yeah.
Now, if he could combine with Del Toro, see, that's the question. Do we see anything of From Software's
Elden Ring?
Yeah, Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's been people have been talking about for a while. I don't know. I kind of have forgotten about it, and I honestly didn't put on the thing here. That could be a maybe. I see if they throw that down, that'd be huge. Like we actually see gameplay, not just like a logo or something.
Yeah, I forget how long ago that was shown. I want to say 2 years,
I
which is
yes, I want to see 2 years.
They could have just started at that point. They could have just
They could have.
Yeah.
But after 2 years, I think you have a workable something to show.
You know, that's the thing about From Software. They put these games out pretty quick. And part of that comes to do with the fact that they rely so much on contract work. They'll contract out people to do the art, and that really speeds them up. Gotcha. And they've talked about that. Like, people should be doing this. So
yeah, no, I would agree. Now, this one is a maybe. Rainbow Six Quarantine. It's been shown off for a while, like the CG trailers and that kind of thing. Do we get a gameplay date?
It's time.
Watch Dogs Legion. So they've announced they're working on a multiplayer. Yes, they've announced they're working on a multiplayer like offshoot from the game. Yeah. And they pushed it. I'm wondering if maybe we see a date or some kind of gameplay of that. Here's some of the Hail Marys that maybe have no.
Well, there's big movie trailer in there.
Yeah, that's just in general. Do we see, because this is a big event, like pop culture event, do we see more movie trailers shown off here as like a cross promotion kind of thing?
I mean, we have Gal Gadot, and I forget the actress.
Tom Holland, I believe he's going to be there too.
Okay, so Tom Holland. We have the actress that plays Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
who it makes me sad that I don't know her name because
I remember Brie. Because of the cheese.
Oh, Brie Larson. There we go. Yeah. And she's a phenomenal actress.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way that a Marvel movie doesn't get announced. There's zero chance that it doesn't get announced.
Now, the only thing that makes me think that's not possible or not going to happen is Disney announced they're going to have their shareholder event December 10th. And they said they're going to make some announcements there. So they might hold off on stuff here because they're going to have this week this event where they show off more stuff on the MCU. And so on. So because that's happening, maybe they'll hold it, but it's possible.
I mean, they've clearly got 20 movies all in production at one point in time, and they've been holding back. Like, do we even have the Black Widow movie yet?
We don't. They're still not deciding yet if they're going to go streaming or not on that one. But I think we hear that this week because with the Warner Bros. Thing that was in the news this week because they're going to HBO Max. All their movies 2021 are going to HBO Max, so I think they're going to respond with their own thing. But or we get a Fast and Furious game, the next one announced here too, like we did last year. I think it's very possible.
Oof.
So let's go with the Hail Mary one. So I don't have really much chance in this, or I think there's a chance, but something from Remedy Games. Control has released maybe a year ago now, a solid year and a half. So do we get some kind of teaser for the next Remedy game, a Control 2, an Alan Wake, blah blah blah? Maybe. I doubt it.
I actually don't. I mean, yeah, it hasn't been that long. That being said, that studio is big now.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
They have the resources to put forth the trailer. I get the feeling the fact that Alan Wake and Control are connected, I think as big as Control was, I think their next game is going to be their biggest, ballsiest.
I hope so. I'm on board. I'll buy 5 more.
Even Quantum Break was big.
It was, and that's one that actually made me want to buy an Xbox One. And I never finished it, but I own that game, and I need to actually give it the time of day.
Yeah, they're ready.
This one, I keep holding out for it, and it's just like in my heart. I know I'm going to see it soon, but this is a BioShock remake. So Cloud Chamber is a new studio that not EA, that 2K spun off to work on this new BioShock game. They announced that about a year and a half ago.
It's a remake?
So it's or sequel. It's something in that world. And they've actually put on paper that it's in that BioShock world. Do we see a trailer? Maybe it's too soon for gameplay, but do we see some kind of concept here? I hope so.
I mean, how long ago was that studio formed?
About a year and a half ago.
Oh, yeah, it's too soon.
Too soon? Maybe a trailer? CGI?
No, but that'd be cool.
Do you remember that dope? I remember this thing hitting me like a ton of bricks. That dope initial CG trailer for BioShock, where they showed the Big Daddy, the dude, and it was CG granted, but I remember being blown away by that.
That's the thing, though. You watch a CG trailer for all 3 of the games, which do not represent final gameplay.
Sort of in theory, but not exactly.
They all exaggerate pretty fucking heavily.
Yeah.
But both 1 and 2 are amazing. Well, I think 1 had the part where it ends with a drill through your tummy.
Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah.
Bro.
That was dope, right? So I don't know how long of a gap of time there was that from the actual release, but I wonder if we get a trailer here.
Yeah.
But that's just it's near and dear to my heart. I want to see something like that. So, and then this is a teaser or a rumor that I didn't know was circulating, but I found this online. Do we get a game tease from this Quadruple A, the Initiative Studio? So that's one of Xbox's studios that is newer. It's about 2 years old now. They haven't said what they're working on. The rumor is it's a Perfect Dark reboot.
Does anyone care?
I think that'd be dope. Just the name applied to it alone to tackle like a classic or an old school Xbox property, or it used to be a Rare property, but for them to bring it back to life, I think would be dope. It would just be one of those like impactful moments in the Game Awards if they did it. And Xbox said they're going to show off something. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's something else.
When I played that last Perfect Dark game, that was so.
I remember hearing negative stuff about it. It was a launch game, but
I was in the hospital with my lung deflated.
And that game was worse.
And that was like they had one of those Xboxes, and I'm just like, hey, give this to me. And I asked my mom to rent me Perfect Dark, and I'm playing this. I'm like, I'd rather be asleep. I'd just so rather be asleep right now.
Just trying to deflate your other lung so it feels better than what you're.
Have you played it?
No, I just remember it not being reviewed very well. But it...
so bad.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you shoot somebody and they bounce around like a balloon.
What?
Like who?
Like their ragdoll physics?
Yeah, their ragdoll physics were like balloony.
I could picture that from that era too, because they're really like every game had to have that, and
you wouldn't think that would take you out of it as much as it did, but you're just like that's
yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's a prime series to be brought back to life because people really love the 64 version of those games. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but that's apparently the rumor that's circulating around.
Well, here's my prediction on that. While we're doing the Hail Marys.
Yes.
The interactive quadruple A studio working on Fear Reborn.
Damn, the FEAR games, the Fear.
Oh yeah, F.E.A.
Like trauma response or whatever. Those games are so dope, and I would love for them to bring that back to life. Yeah. That was awesome.
The world is so ready for a new Fear game.
Oh yeah,
but don't end the plot where you were and just restart and go a different direction. Although the 100%. Plot for Fear 2 is really good, but then you get raped by a ghost at the end, and that was very upsetting.
Oh god. Did not know that happened.
Yeah, that was how it ends.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah.
Does you have the baby or something?
Yep. No, she gets insta-prego.
Oh God. Okay.
No, it's weird. You should watch that very upsetting ending.
I don't think I will. Get my family together and we'll watch it. So here's another Hail Mary. Sony reveals direct competitor to Game Pass. So they've mentioned in the past, you're fine. In the past couple of months, they've mentioned that they have some kind of thing as a response to Game Pass with PlayStation. Do we see that here? Or does Sony have their own event in the coming months where they have more PlayStation centric announcements? That's a maybe. Here's one I would love to see: Alien Isolation 2. It's been a while since the first one. It's come out on Switch on every platform imaginable. Yeah. It was more of a cult classic, but I think people love it across the board. I looked up what that studio has been doing. They've worked on the Total War franchise, and they actually made...
Really? That's them?
Yeah. Apparently, well, at least they took it over and worked on it. And then they put out the last Halo Wars sequel. So Halo Wars 2. They worked on that.
How random is that?
Yes.
But, I think... Go ahead.
No, just as far as that's what they've been working on lately.
So something to bring up real quick. So recently built a new PC with a huge help to Fonzie. Oh. And I was trying to download anything I could for free through Game Pass, and Alien Isolation was on there. And so I downloaded that and Control. And I got to say, Alien Isolation looks almost as good as Control.
I wouldn't disagree with you. Yeah.
Like, the only reason maybe Control looks better is because of third person, you can get away with, like, it could be the same level of detail, but because one's in first person, you can get right up, smashed up against that texture. But God.
And they really nailed that visual style. Like, you feel like you're in I forget the name of the director. That world in the first Alien. You feel like you're there on this spaceship that, exists in an 80s movies time frame, where it's like the panels and the ambiance, like they really nail it. And so I would love for them to tackle a sequel. And but who knows? That's just one of those.
That was also I was looking at how long to beat. It's like 18 hours or something like that for the first one. And that was the other thing. I started it, and I knew with the save file, like, it takes a few seconds to save, and you can be murdered while you're saving. I didn't realize after you save, you can't save again at that same save point for like 5 minutes.
Damn.
So
it's pretty brutal. Yeah. I love that concept, but also I don't want that in the game. But I love that kind of stuff that they're doing just to make it more terrifying. Here's one that's been announced or rumored is Wolf Among Us 2. Now this is that studio that's been closed down. I'm blanking on the name. Telltale.
Yeah.
So this would be another studio taking it over, but that's the rumor that I've been hearing, reading online. Do we see something from Bethesda? They have that. They made that deal with Xbox. Do we see them tease something? You think it's too early for, not Skyfall, for not Star Fox, for Starfield? Too early for that. Too early for Elder Scrolls.
So here's my prediction. I want to go back to Wolf Among Us because although people love that game, because I guess the comics are good. I think it's a comic.
I want to say, yeah.
And Wolf Among Us is supposed to be great. I'm saying not that. I'm saying Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse from those devs.
Whoa. That'd be dope. That'd be really, really cool.
Right?
Just the story that they could pull from, and it wouldn't have the action and stuff, but that's the thing. These games lean on the story, and that's what makes them so awesome. Like they've done Game of Thrones, they've done Batman and Walking Dead. So yeah.
I need to go back and play Batman. I played episode 1. I thought it was really good. I like that they actually changed up the parent murder story.
Oh, okay.
Just like a little bit, but it was enough. And I've heard that game described as one of the most underrated Batman games out there.
Interesting.
And I would believe that.
That's cool.
Anyway, so Bethesda.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think it's too early for them to tease anything?
How long has it been?
We have Deathloop already coming out. We have...
Oh, I always forget Bethesda is like a full fucking publisher.
Yeah, Doom's already out. Doom Eternal.
You can probably see some from Deathloop.
Like, would they be setting up 2021? Do we see any upcoming things like in the Elder Scrolls universe or...
what's Skyrim coming to this year?
Yeah, is Skyrim going to be on the who's he what's it's? There is a Starfield thing, but that's like way too far away, right?
Yeah.
Now, if Starfield's 2022, do you think then, if you're teasing 2021, do you think it's too early to just show some kind of short snippet? Because they've been working on this thing for a while, and if they're gonna nail 2 years from now, at least I feel like it's fair to show something that you've been working on.
Are they gonna come out with it 2 years?
No, I would just, in my mind, I imagine we see in 2022.
I don't even know how long ago that game was announced. Was that a year ago?
Well, they showed off that image the last Bethesda conference.
Oh, so not super.
But you've always told me that, like, behind the scenes, they've been working on this thing for a while, waiting for the tech to.
They've been designing it for years and years and years, but the tech was never there. It's honestly possible.
Or they just don't, make a presence there because they don't have anything yet to show off. But
I mean, can you imagine like Cyberpunk comes out, and then Bethesda just comes out and whips out.
Here's our response in 2 years or whatever. Yeah, that'd be dope. People keep asking for Bloodborne, a sequel. Do we see that here? I kind of doubt it, but that's one of those things.
Didn't he say he doesn't want to make a Bloodborne 2?
I
think what's his name? It's not Miyazaki. Oh, okay. Is it Miyazaki?
I don't know. That's the first name that comes up.
I think he said he's not making Bloodborne 2. So
dang, people love it. I tried it for 2 hours and I do not like it, but I wish I did.
I gotta borrow your PlayStation now.
Yeah.
Or does your nephew have it?
No, he has my Xbox. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can borrow it. Splinter Cell. Do we see a Splinter Cell teased? I read last year. So Jason, not Bateman, Jason Schreier of previously of Kotaku. I think it works with a huge outlet now. He said that he hasn't seen any rumblings of them even like working on a Splinter Cell. This was last year, but it's a huge property. Do you think it's possible that there's plans to go back into this world anytime soon?
Not if there's no rumblings. I would say if there were some rumblings, I'd give it 100% yes. People want it. Bring it. Yeah, absolutely. Bring it back. I hope it comes back next year. But yeah, if no one has any rumblings of it.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. But it's such a huge property, Xbox property. Like, why has it been left so long? You do see that character pop up in like weird mobile games and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just, imagine the trailer, not even a trailer. At some point, they add this snippet to like the end of an Xbox conference or the Game Awards where you have a black screen and you hear that pew like thing pop up, that sound, and then the 3 lights. Everyone goes nuts.
I think they were gauging interest. Like this was, what was that Star Wars thing to... This was, so I guess you remember the prequels?
Yeah.
So what happened was they re-released all those movies in theaters to gauge interest in Star Wars, and that greenlit the prequels.
Interesting.
I think those events were gauging the interest in
with his presence on mobile, maybe.
Well, even like you look at
a different crowd.
So with like Zelda, there was Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
That game was gauging interest in that style of Zelda game, and people loved it. So like, all right, so they do that. So I think we get it next year. It's definitely in development. But yeah, with no rumblings, it's absolutely not.
It's just a bummer because that's a huge property. It's like, why are you leaving money on the table? And and especially with Xbox, they need these stronger series of games in their corner. So you have one you're sitting on, just bring it back to life.
But that's not Xbox exclusive.
It's not, but it just, in my mind, it's always tied back to the original Xbox. So I think for a lot of people, there's like mind share that you can talk about, right? So that's one that, just like Resident Evil, kind of has roots in PlayStation, and you can use that and control that a little bit.
Wasn't Resident Evil exclusive to PlayStation?
I think for a while it was, yeah.
Yeah, because Nintendo can do that without FMV.
That's true, yeah. And I know Resident Evil 4 was exclusive to GameCube for a little while too, which I watched a video. GameSpot had a awesome breakdown of. There was this, I didn't realize it, but back in the day around that Resident Evil 4 time frame, they made a deal with Capcom to do 3 exclusive games for the GameCube, and all of them failed or were canceled except for Resident Evil, and that one kept going. But yeah, anyway, so and then my last Hail Mary is Killzone. We're talking about franchises that have been dead for a while. We haven't had a Killzone since.
Not even that long though.
Not even long, but it was a PS4 launch game about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And otherwise, that game, of course, they're working on now Horizon, but that's PlayStation's maybe only strong first party shooter that they own, that they work with. So I would love for them to bring that back and just kind of strengthen that side of their whole their portfolio, is just have their own shooter that's ready to go.
Yeah.
And Xbox definitely has more than enough shooters, so I'd love for them to bring that back.
Absolutely not. But that being said, can you imagine, I think this last gen is when, remember that Killzone, what was it, 2 trailer, where it was just absolutely beyond the realm of doable, although Killzone 2 ended up being gorgeous, and Killzone 3 on the same system was an absolute stunner.
Yeah.
But now with this current gen we're on now, with PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, you can now make a Killzone game so 2 times prettier than this original impossible trailer, maybe with the exception of those clouds. Those clouds are still, to this day, some of the prettiest.
They're more you can't, Pixar level kind of CGI.
You can't find that trailer in anything higher than 720p nowadays.
You can't, but it's
which is funny because I have a DVD from back in the day
with a higher resolution.
Yeah, I think it was 1080.
Dang, get that out.
But oh man, that E3! I think I watched that E3 DVD 1,000 times because that was when Xbox 360 and PS3 were going to be the next gen. Back when you could buy an E3 DVD.
Damn. Ooh. That's I remember at that same time G4 would play a lot of stuff, so I would catch it there. There's a snippet of a game reveal from one of those E3s where they show Gears of War for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's a scene where that Juggernaut guy breaks through the wall and just stares you down, and it blew my fucking mind because it looks so good. Oh, right. And I don't think it looked, the end game ended up looking quite like that, but
it did though.
Really good.
I think it did.
I'd have to go back but it was just that initial reveal was just insanely awesome to me. But anytime, when you have next gen stuff down the line and you see it, it just looks so much cooler.
I remember thinking that game looked so good. I thought it looked like claymation.
Interesting.
And you actually play it, and it's it looks like a video game. But
yeah, any other possible things you think we'll see, or likely or unlikely?
I really should have came prepared. I really like every year to do my big Hail Marys. I just find Hail Marys fun.
Well, I was going to ask you, when we get together and watch it, do you want to stream it? We could sit here and watch a thing and just do a podcast.
I'm unsure, because every year we have made a habit, since I've moved back to Yakima, we have made a habit of getting absolutely destroyed while watching this. And I know last year, I feel like I was pretty annoying last year. I was Debbie Downer, and you were positive Polly over here. Like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, fucking...
You tend to do that even when you're not drunk, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, we can try it. I just don't.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that. But yeah, that's we'll see. It's very close. That's our predictions and what's likely, unlikely for the Game Awards. Gavin here. That's it. We're definitely gone over on time, and we can end it there. Gavin, where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at DrunkDevs.
Awesome. You can find us as well on Twitter at PlasticArtPod. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.